Greetings. Today I want to talk to you about supplements because the media today has confused people as to whether supplements are of value or not of value. We've been telling people to take supplements for years, but if you listen to the news, you start to think, well, maybe they don't really work. Well, I'm going to give you a historical example of why they do work. And I think it's terribly important because supplements are terribly important, especially today. I want to talk to you about flour, and the story of flour will make it clear to you. Years ago, people ate whole grain flour. And then someone discovered that you can grind off the outside and get white flour, and that white flour was only had by the very rich people. White flour lasted a long time, so it was prized because bacteria and bugs didn't eat it. They didn't eat it because they knew something we didn't know. It wasn't healthy. They can tell that. They go by their sensory mechanism, their tongues and their smell, their taste. We don't. We go by recommendations from whoever it may be, and what other things that influence people of knowledge, rather than insects that depend on their inborn gifts of understanding the world. So anyway, the white flour became plentiful when we discovered this new way of grinding things quickly and easy. And all across the world, people were consuming white flour because it was the in thing to do, and it lasted longer. All of a sudden, we had some disease come up, and that was beriberi and pellagra. And at first, nobody knew why, but about that time, we were discovering vitamins. And so someone did research and said, when you're grinding off the outside of the wheat, you're grinding off the B vitamins, which prevented the beriberi and the pellagra. So the government mandated that people who created white flour had to put B vitamins in to enrich the flour. So now it was enriched white flour. It wasn't really what it was. It was actually flour that was damaged that they added something back in. But they didn't want to tell you that. Of course, you can't market that, so you call it enriched white flour. All right, so now you buy enriched white flour, and guess what? Beriberi and pellagra vanished. So the proof is in the history of flour that if you're lacking in a nutrient, such as you have when you grind white flour from whole grain flour, adding a supplement makes you healthy again. Supplements work. It's that simple. And there's many, many other examples. This is just one story. But I tell you this for another reason, too, in that we at Holistic Vision Care usually tell you not to eat grains as much as possible to reduce your carbohydrate intake. And that's true because most carbohydrates are refined. Even whole grain carbs in excess can cause issues. Look at some of the things that happen with white flour. The immediate consequences of taking away some of the nutrients created severe diseases, pellagra and beriberi. The long-term consequences, the chronic diseases that are killing people today, only became evident later, and they're still being contested. But those are hardened arteries, diabetes, obesity, strokes, heart attacks. All those things come from too much carbohydrates, particularly refined flours are a good source of them. Rice and other things are too, where you get too many refined carbohydrates. So what are some of the causes of those? Well, one thing for sure, when you grind whole grains and you take off the outer covering, it exposes the oils, and the oils in the grains then become rancid, and you're getting rancid oils. Where if you're eating the whole grain, you'd be getting healthy omega-3 oils in most cases that reverse inflammation rather than cause inflammation. So that's why we recommend omega-3 oils, and we recommend antioxidants. See, all these things contain what's missing from the American diet. When people grow crops over and over on land where they've been farming for 100 years, the nutrients are lacking in the soil. You can't even really get crops to grow without artificially stimulating them. So you add nitrogen-containing fertilizers, you add all different things to the soil to try and make the plants grow, but they're not the way plants should grow, so the plants are deficient, just like the grain is deficient when you grind off its outside covering. If it was natural, you'd have landslides and soil washing down from erosion and rain. You'd grow crops in a valley, as primitive people knew to do, where all the nutrients washed down and the animals left stuff that enriched the soil. These things aren't happening anymore, so the natural process has been interrupted. So for you to stay healthy, eating foods today, you need to have some supplements added to your foods, even if they're organic foods, which really will have less pesticide, but probably be no more enriched with vitamins than others because people are growing too many plants over and over on the same soil. There may be exceptions, but still I think that's the case. So what supplements should you consider? Well, omega-3 oils are very important, and antioxidants are very important. In our office, when it comes to omega-3 oils, we recommend two brands, Nordic Naturals and Essential Naturals. Those omega-3 oils we know are not going to be rancid. They're very healthy. One's a liquid, one's a capsule, for people who want to take either one. In terms of antioxidants, to prevent cataracts, reduce your risk of glaucoma and other disease, antioxidants we recommend from Essential Naturals, again, a high-quality product. You can get products everywhere that sound the same, but again, if things are bad, if they're rancid, they're spoiled, they're not good, what's the point in taking them? So two things I want you to take away from this. Because of the history of flour, you know that supplements do work. The history proves it. Don't listen to people that try and confuse you and try and sell you something. Look at reality, look at history, and see the supplements do work. And two types of supplements that almost everybody should be taking are antioxidants and definitely omega-3 oils, a good brand like Nordic Naturals or Essential Naturals. I hope that's helpful and clears some of the confusion that the news media has lately created.